ho, ho. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Story Time by Santa. Sit back, relax, and enjoy these wonderful stories that Santa is going to read to you, your family members, and your children. I hope you have a wonderful time. And if you like, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Santa loves you. Ho, ho, ho. Enjoy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Are you ready to hear some stories? The polar bear's Christmas wish. Far to the north, in a land of endless snow and shimmering auroras, there lived a kind-hearted polar bear named Pippa. Pippa had fluffy white fur that sparkled in sunlight and a warm heart that loved everyone in her Arctic home. However, Pippa often felt a little sad. Though she had many friends, a wise old snowy owl named Owlie, a playful seal named Sammy, and a family of cheerful Arctic foxes, something felt missing every Christmas. One frosty evening, as the stars twinkled like diamonds in the sky, Pippa sat by her favorite ice cliff overlooking the northern lights. She closed her eyes tightly and whispered, "I wish for something special this Christmas. Something that will make everyone in the Arctic as happy as I dream to be." What Pippa didn't know was that Santa himself had heard her wish. The North Pole wasn't far from Pippa's home, and the magical winds carried her heartfelt wish to Santa's ears. Santa called for his chief elf, Jingle, and said, "This sounds like a wish worth granting, but it must come from Pippa's own heart. Let's help her find the magic within herself." The next morning, Pippa woke to find a sparkling snowflake necklace on her doorstep with a note that read, "To Pippa. This necklace will guide you on a journey to bring joy to others. Trust in yourself and the magic will follow." Curious and a little nervous, Pippa slipped the necklace around her neck. It glowed warmly, filling her with courage. She decided to visit her friends to ask for help. First, she went to Owlie the owl, who was perched in an ancient pine tree. "Owlie, do you know how I can bring happiness to everyone this Christmas?" Owlie blinked his wise eyes. "Sometimes joy is found in the simplest things, Pippa. Look around you. What does everyone love the most?" Next, Pippa slid across the ice to Sammy the seal. Sammy flipped and splashed excitedly. "Pippa, everybody loves your stories. Why don't you share one of your magical tales at the Christmas gathering?" Finally, Pippa stopped by the Arctic fox family. The kits bounced around her feet. Their mother smiled and said, "We all love being together, Pippa. Maybe your wish is to help us all feel closer as a community." Pippa thought long and hard. Then an idea sparked in her mind, as bright as the necklace around her neck. She gathered her friends and said, "Let's create a special Christmas festival, a night to share stories, food, and laughter under the northern lights." Excitement buzzed through the Arctic as everybody prepared for the festival. Sammy carved an ice amphitheater. Ole decorated the pine trees with icicles that glistened like glass. And the fox family baked delicious treats from berries and snow moss. Pippa wrote a brand new story, one filled with hope, kindness, and love. On Christmas Eve, Animals from all corners of the Arctic gathered. Pippa stood in the center of the amphitheater, the glowing necklace lighting her face. She began her story. Once upon a time, there was a little polar bear who thought she wasn't enough to make others happy. But she learned that her kindness and love was the greatest gifts she could ever share. As Pippa spoke, the northern lights danced more brilliantly than ever before, as if the sky itself was celebrating. By the end of the story, there wasn't a single heart untouched by joy. When the festival ended, Pippa felt her heart swell with warmth. She realized her Christmas wish had come true, not because of the necklace magic, but because she had brought her community together. Santa Claus, watching from his sleigh, smiled and said, "Pippa has found the true meaning of Christmas. Joy comes from sharing what's in your heart with others." And from that Christmas on, the Arctic Festival became a beloved tradition, reminding everyone that the greatest gift isn't something you can hold. It's something you give freely. Love, kindness, and togetherness. The end. Here's your life story. The story teaches children that the greatest joy comes from sharing their unique gifts and creating meaningful connections with others. By spreading kindness and love, they can make the world a brighter place. Wow! Wasn't that awesome? All right, are you ready? Have you still got some cocoa left? I hope you have some cookies. The elf who stole Santa's hat. Deep in the heart of the North Pole, there were candy canes sprouted like trees, and the gingerbread houses lined snowy streets. The elves were bustling to prepare for Christmas Eve. Among them was a tiny elf named Nibbles. Nibbles wasn't like the other elves. He was smaller, quieter, and always seemed to trip over his own shoes. The other elves didn't mean to be unkind, but they often overlooked Nibbles when they laughed together over cocoa or worked as a team wrapping presents. Nibbles felt invisible. One frosty evening, as Santa checked his naughty and nice list, Nibbles spotted Santa's famous red hat sitting on a nearby chair. The hat, with its fluffy white trim and a bell that jingled merrily, was a symbol of Santa's magic and warmth. If I wore that hat, Nibbles thought, everybody would finally notice me. Maybe they'd even think I'm special. So with trembling hands, Nibbles took Santa's hat and hurried back to his little corner of the workshop. He slipped it on, and for a moment he felt a spark of confidence. But as he turned to look in the mirror, the weight of guilt settled on his small shoulders. The next morning, the North Pole was in chaos. "Santa's hat is missing," an elf cried. "Without it, he can't leave for Christmas Eve." Santa tried to calm everyone. "The hat holds no magic," he said kindly. "It's just a hat. The real magic of Christmas comes from all of you, your love, hard work, and joy. Still, it's very dear to me, and I'd like it back." Nibbles felt his cheeks burn. He hadn't meant to ruin Christmas, but now the entire workshop was looking high and low for the missing hat. As the hours ticked by, Nibbles sat in his corner clutching the hat. He thought about how much Santa's hat meant to everyone. It wasn't just a symbol of Santa. It was a symbol of the magic that they all created together. Finally, with a deep breath, Nibbles walked to the center of the workshop. All eyes turned to him. He held up the hat and said, I'm sorry. I took Santa's hat because I wanted to feel special. But I realize now that being special doesn't come from wearing something magical. It comes from helping others and being part of something bigger. Santa knelt down and placed a hand on Nibbles' shoulders. That's a very brave thing to admit, Nibbles. And you are special, not because of what you wear, but because of who you are. It's your kindness and courage that make you truly magical. The other elves nodded in agreement. One by one, they came forward to hug Nibbles, apologizing for not noticing how left out he'd been feeling. From that day on, the elves made sure everyone felt included, especially Nibbles. And Nibbles learned that he didn't need Santa's hat to be noticed. He just needed to believe in himself and share his heart with others. That Christmas, Santa flew into the night sky wearing his hat, his sleigh packed with presents, and his heart full of pride for his little elf who had learned the true meaning of belonging. The end. The life lesson is the story teaches children the importance of being true to themselves and recognizing that their worth comes from their actions and character, not from what they have or wear. It also emphasizes the power of inclusive forgiveness and working together to make everyone feel valued. Wasn't that awesome, boys and girls? Pretty cool. And yes, even Santa loves the ones that feel lonely. I hope you enjoyed that, because Santa will be back to do it all over again. Santa loves you. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.